My name is Pam Sinoski, and I teach second grade at the Hazel Township Early Learning Center. Both my school and Arthur Street Elementary Schools have adopted a hybrid model of learning to deliver instruction to our students. The foundation of this model is to group the students into 3 groups. Each group, for about a 20 to 30 minute period, is learning in a different way. The first group is with the teacher receiving direct instruction on a lesson, math or reading. The second group is at a computer practicing their skills independently. Our schools have chosen a program called iReady, which leads the children on their own learning path after taking a diagnostic test. It addresses skills like phonics, reading comprehension, reading fluency, geometry and math, and addition, number operations, subtraction, money, time. And then the third group is a collaborative group. Students are working together to complete a project or activity, directions given by the teacher. It is very important from the beginning of the year for the teachers to give the directions and the rules for what's expected of them at each session. And the rules and directions also help transition from group to group go a little more smoothly. I have used the hybrid model in my classroom for delivering both reading and math instruction. In reading, I put the kids in homogeneous groups so that I can use a guided level reader to read at their level and reinforce oral reading fluency, comprehension skills, strategies, vocabulary. In math, I do not use homogeneous groups. I group them heterogeneously. It gives me a chance to see who within the group grasps the skills more easily and which few I need to watch and guide more closely, hopefully to keep them from making mistakes and practicing incorrectly when they practice independently. I also like to teach creative writing process in the smaller groups too. It makes the steps of the process go easier with a smaller group. I feel that the hybrid learning model has been an effective tool in delivering the instruction.
Hi, my name is Lisa Urick, and I've been teaching here at Arthur Street for 20 years. I've taught kindergarten, and I'm currently teaching first grade. And I'm here to talk about the direct instruction part of the hybrid learning process. The direct instruction part is the traditional teaching style. Teachers are able to provide differentiated instruction to a smaller group. I have 3 groups, and they're homogeneously grouped by their levels where we can customize their needs. The group consists about 7-8 students, and each group lasts about 20-25 minutes. And usually with my struggling group, I spend a little bit longer than that. In each group, I introduce the same concept. I introduce it the same way, and I wrap it up and end it the same way. It's the in-between that's differentiated. For example, if I'm teaching the skill compound words, for my strugglers, I'm going to define what is a compound word. I will give examples, they will give examples. We'll write them on the board. Afterwards, I like to give puzzles. I like something concrete, something hands-on that they could work on. For example, if I give them the word bathtub, we say together bath, and we say the other part tub. Put it together, bathtub. Can anyone think of another compound word we can put together? If they're not sure, look at your puzzle pieces. Look to see what you have. Share with your neighbor. Share with me. What do we have? So we discuss various compound words with our puzzles. Afterwards, I like to record what they've been doing. So each group, and this is my red group, each group has a little composition book. They're actually, all I did was cut them in half to make them child-friendly, and they get to write their compound words. I like to do rainbow writing, so it's more fun for them, and they really enjoy writing with markers, and I think they do a neater job with it. So they'll put butterfly, dog, house. They write as many as they can, share with their neighbor, share with the group. Afterwards, we discuss, what did we do? I wrap each group up the same way. What did we talk about today? We talked about compound words. What does that mean? And throughout the day, if you hear me using one, if you see me writing one, if you see one in a reading passage, I want you to raise your hand and say, I spy a compound word, or I heard a compound word. And then that it's not isolated to just our little group work in the morning. And they really seem to enjoy that. And they love participating. It's a smaller group. I see things that I normally wouldn't see, whole group. And I can pick things out and work with the children who really need more work. If they do a really good job, I give them a star. If I feel like they need more work, I give them a check. So the next day, then I look and I see if that child needs more reinforcement on that skill. Then we do a rotation, and the next rotation they will go to collaborative, and I will have other activities dealing with compound words at the collaborative. My next group would be, it's my green group, my level group. I introduce it the same way. I define what a compound word is. Let me give you some examples. You give me some examples. I also give them the puzzles to work with, put together, and they share with their classmates and also with me. They get a composition book also, but this time they can write sentences with their compound word, and they can do their word in marker. So they write at least 3 sentences, and they share with the class. We read them together, and they get ideas off of each other also. So they really enjoy doing this, and once again, I'll give it a star or a check, depending on what I feel they need. Afterwards, we wrap it up the same way. What do we talk about? And they get very excited, and they normally, of course, they could repeat almost everything we did talk about because they're paying attention. They're more attentive because it's a smaller group. My next group would be my above level group, and that is my blue group over here. And we also introduce it the same way. We define it and we go over some examples. I give them the puzzles to work with, but now I could really extend it. I could really challenge them. We can write a short story. Let's think of a topic. How many times can you use some of the compound words that we talked about? Use them in your story and then highlight the words that you used. And then let's share our stories together. So then each one reads their story and they applaud. And once again, they come up with some really creative ideas. They really get into this. And they're working off each other also. And it gives me such a closer look at what my students have to offer that I might have missed during a whole group exercise. So after that, once again, I close it the same way and we discuss, we go back and they clean up and my rotations are finished. And they really feel like they accomplished something. They feel good about themselves. I have to say, in the beginning, I was not a big fan of this because I am a traditional teacher. I've been doing this so long, and I'm so used to whole group. So it was out of my comfort zone. And they would ask me every day, "Are we doing hybrid today?" Because I wasn't doing it every day. So when they would ask me, and I go, "What do you like about it?" "I like the collaborative. I like working with so-and-so and putting these together." And they think it is fun. It is fun, but it's learning and having fun. So I had to be open-minded and be a little like, okay, it's not about you. I know I'm not comfortable with it at this point, but it's not always about the educator. It's about the educating. So I had to think, what is best for them? What's going to work for them? How am I going to get the best results? And I am getting better results through this. So overall, as teachers, we all know that children they don't all learn the same way. So it's our job to teach them the way they can learn. And I feel through hybrid, we can achieve that goal. Lastly, as teachers, we've heard of the word differentiated. And really, a lot of us, I didn't. What exactly does that mean? And through hybrid, it opens up many doors. It shows us exactly what differentiated it means, and it gives us the materials, the ways that we can reach those goals and look into how each child can learn through differentiation.
Hi, I'm Holly Drum. I've been teaching first grade for 8 years at Arthur Street Elementary. Today I'm going to talk to you about the independent station during our hybrid rotations. At the independent station, students work independently on a computer or a laptop. The program we use is called iReady. iReady allows every student to work at their own pace on individualized lessons in reading and math based on their diagnostic score. The diagnostic test is given 4 times a year, and it places students at their correct instructional level. As you can see, this student was placed on a kindergarten level and is practicing beginning sounds and sorting words by those beginning sounds.
I'm writing a poem for my animals here at the pet shop. My animals like poems that have words that begin with the same sound. Can you help me fix my poem?
Our students spend a total of 45 minutes per week in each subject on iReady instructional lessons. iReady provides reports to the teacher about student progress that are very easily accessible. We're now going to look at the instructional grouping profile report. The teacher selects a subject and creates the report. This report groups students in 5 different profiles. It tells you how you can best group students for reading and math instruction. Here is a class shot of the grouping profile. It tells you how many students are in each profile. And on the other side, it outlines what needs students need in each profile. We're going to take a look at how the profiles work for each student. For this presentation, I will click on Profile 1. In Profile 1, the student priorities are listed. This is where the student's academic needs are. By scrolling down, the teacher can see the students that are in this profile and how they scored on their tests. Next, the teacher is given instructional priorities for the profile. In this profile, the student's academic needs are phonological awareness, phonics, and vocabulary. By scrolling down some more, the teacher is given tools for instruction. By clicking on a lesson, the teacher can use a lesson plan that can be given to a paraprofessional or used during small group instruction. The nice thing about this is that the iReady program groups the children for you. The grouping is done 4 times a year. This can help plan small group instruction, and it can be used to differentiate instruction based on student needs. I really like the iReady program. It has a ton of resources that I can use in the classroom and in small group instruction. It's different than any other program that I've used because it automatically does the grouping. It tells where my students' strengths are as well as their needs. It's a great tool to use for parent-teacher meetings, and it's also great for the child study team process. The final thing about hybrid and differentiation is that when the students are on the computer at their independent station, they're getting direct instructional lessons on their instructional level. And then when they rotate to the direct station, they're getting reinforced with that direct instruction on their instructional level.
Anything about hybrid you don't like?
I like all of it. Me too.
This is my second year of teaching, and I am a second grade teacher, and I'm going to tell you about the collaborative group today with the hybrid learning. Collaborative group is where students work together to communicate with one another, to work on projects or any activity that you give them. Some people prefer to do it in their group of 7 or 8 students that they have. I prefer to split it up into 3 and 4 students in each group. I feel as though collaborative is an extremely key point in the hybrid learning because I found that our students today do not know how to communicate with one another. And my students' communication skills have improved greatly through doing hybrid, especially the collaborative group. Sometimes I have them work in their group of 4 on an activity. Sometimes I have them just work in partners. So I'm going to show you some of the activities that I use in collaborative. Some of these are purchased with our grant money, and some of them were completely free on resources such as Teachers Pay Teachers, Pinterest, or other education blogs. One activity that I found that's extremely useful and very easy to differentiate is roll the dice. As you can see, I have in 1-digit, 2-digit, and 3-digit varieties. These dice were purchased with grant money. However, these can also be used, and these were found at our local Dollar Tree, which is a tremendous resource for things. With Roll the Dice, the students, I have them work in partners on this. They take the die, one student will roll it, they'll put the first number in the top box, they'll roll again, the second number in the bottom box, and then it will be their partner's turn to solve this and find the sum. They take turns back and forth with this, which really has improved their turn-taking skills as well as their communication and patience with one another. And as I said before, I have this in an addition and subtraction varieties in 1, 2, and 3-digit, which is perfect for differentiation, especially with students who are struggling with basic math facts. These little sheet protectors are also a very handy little tool. Instead of driving yourself nuts laminating everything, they can easily be interchanged for different activities and used over and over again. Another activity that my students really enjoy is this IC10 game. Now this is something that was purchased with our grant funds. Students take turns turning over the chips, and the first person to recognize a sum of 10 says, I see 10, and they get to keep those chips. If they turn over a shark chip, they have to put the chips back in the box. This is a fantastic tool for turn-taking skills once again, and communication, and this can be played in a small group of 3 or 4. Another way to differentiate this is IC20, which is just the next level up, and I use it for my higher groups who are a little more proficient with adding slightly larger sums mentally. Pop for Sight Words is another game that was purchased with grant money. Students take turns grabbing a little popcorn out of the popcorn box, and it will have a sight word on it. And the student has to read the sight word, and the rest of their group needs to determine if they've correctly read the sight word. If they correctly read the sight word, the student gets to keep the popcorn. If they pull one that says pop, all of their popcorn goes back into the mix and they continue to play. Another great tool for turn-taking skills, for understanding fairness and just helping one another out. My students have actually took it upon themselves to help other students sounding out the words, helping with phonics skills, and they've completely done this on their own, and I truly believe that collaborative has helped them take on that role as kind of little teachers within their group. As I mentioned before, there are a ton of free resources on sites such as Teachers Pay Teachers and Pinterest and educational blogs. Phineas and Verb is one that I've recently found that the kids really enjoy. These nifty little pouches, you can find them sometimes at the dollar store and Staples. Now these I have laminated just for durability, and the blue cards are the level 1 cards, Phineas, blank on the ship, and the students have to choose the correct form of the verb, rode, ride, or rided. If they correctly get the verb, as the group decides if they correctly got it, they get to keep that card. There are stopper cards and things like that in here where their cards will have to go back, and it's just a really fun way for them to practice with one another and once again help each other out to find the correct version of the verb and to essentially teach one another, because sometimes I find that students can often explain to one another in ways that we can't because they are thinking like one another. Sometimes I'll hear teachers say that collaborative is the most difficult station to plan for. It can be more time consuming in the beginning than your direct and certainly than your independent would be. But once you have things like this in place and you take the time to get organized, these are just grab and go. I keep all of my station activities in bins by subject matter, and when I know what I'm going to be doing for that day, I can just grab and go what I need. And it's really not that difficult once you take the time to get certain things in place. Another important piece of the collaborative activity is not only for the students to collaborate with one another, but also for the teachers to collaborate with one another and share activities and ideas. I know as a second grade team, we have certainly shared with one another, and even as a school in general, we've shared with one another many activities that we've found. Since our students are on such varying levels, there are certain kindergarten and first grade activities that will apply for second grade, as well as some second grade activities that will apply for higher level first grade students. So I find that collaborating with your team members is a very, very important part of making hybrid a success. Another thing that helps with my collaborative group are these little bins. Scissors can go in here, glue, and then whatever activity you want the students to be working on. Even the IC20 fits in here, and you can set this at the collaborative stations. I usually assign one leader per table who's in charge of grabbing their bin for that day, and then the directions will be in here, all the materials that they need will be in here, and as soon as they get to collaborative, they know that they have everything that they need, they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and they don't need to come over and ask you what they need to be doing. I do have an ask 3 before me rule, so they need to ask 3 people in their group before they come to me with a question. And generally, it gets solved or answered before they need to come to me at direct.
Hi, I'm Kara Devine. I'm from the Luzerne Intermediate Unit, and I am the single point of contact for Hazleton Area School District. I'm in charge of pulling together and working with all the administrators here at Hazleton to pull together all of the training and professional development needs for the district. I'm here with Joelle Mills and Lisa Moriel, both hybrid coaches for the Luzerne Intermediate Unit, working in the Hazleton School District. So I'm going to turn it over to Joelle.
Hi again, I'm Joelle Mills. I am one of the hybrid learning instructional coaches for the Luzerne Intermediate Unit. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the processes and procedures and how we provide support for this type of initiative. So first and foremost, our role is to provide a lot of upfront professional development. So training both the administrators and the teachers to know kind of just the beginning stages of the model. So from a broad view, so how exactly does it work? What does it mean for you as a teacher in terms of changing your instruction? What does it mean for an administrator in terms of what you should see in the classrooms? We break it down into a series of trainings, some that focus on classroom management, some that focus on lesson planning, and also the data piece, which is crucial for knowing your digital content and what you're going to be using to provide the personalized, independent instruction. That's a major piece of this program. After the upfront trainings, we also go into classrooms very frequently as weekly, to make sure the teachers have the support that they need, and we field questions via email, in person, and as Kara mentioned, we are the ones who provide all of the training. So Act 80 days, any opportunity to get teachers together in the same room to collaborate, share ideas, and we facilitate that process as well. And now I'm going to turn it to Lisa Muriel to share her story.
Hi, I'm Lisa Moriel. I have the privilege of being a coach for the LIU this year. Previously, I taught in one of our districts from Luzerne County, and I recently retired and loved the hybrid model. Was so grateful that I was given the opportunity to use it. Wish that I probably could have stayed and used it longer. So I decided to try and see if I could help support the teachers in the Hazleton School District by becoming a coach. I believe that it is very beneficial for us to be here to help the teachers, to help support them on a daily basis with any of the problems that they may encounter, and also to celebrate their successes, which are so many that I have seen in being a coach for the last few months. It's amazing the accomplishments that the teachers are having happen in the classroom. The children are making great strides, and I see great improvements, especially with the collaborative group, which is a very difficult group to manage. So I'm very happy that I'm able to be in the district and being allowed to have the opportunity to work with the teachers.
So thank you, Joelle and Lisa, for sharing your hybrid experiences here at Hazleton Area School District. There also is another coach who couldn't be here with us today. Sue Poole also works with the K-2 buildings here in Hazleton, and she's extremely proud of what the teachers have done and the growth that the students have shown. One thing that we really want teachers to know and understand is that they're never alone in their classrooms when it comes to starting hybrid learning. We look at everything from the technology that's being utilized in their classrooms to the arrangement of their classrooms, the resources and the materials, the digital content, and we're always there, whether in person, a phone call away, or an email away, and we're happy to help in any way we possibly can.